What's the scene, Adam fam? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another vlog. So today we are basically ingredient prepping for the week. As y'all know, school opened this week and I try to make sure I have meals planned out and prepped for the week so that it's not as much of a hassle when it's time to make lunches and stuff like that for the kids. So right now I just have like pak choy, bodi, carrots, like different vegetables in the sink here soaking to wash it out, and I'm just going to wash them, put them to drain in order to get them prepped and cut up and stuff like that for the kids at the school. So as you can see here, I'm just cutting up the pak choy because we want to make sure we get out all that dirt, and sometimes there's little bugs in there and stuff like that, and we ain't trying to put that in the food, right? So that's what I'm doing right now, as you can see. So right here, I'm just cleaning the carrots. I was going to scrape it, but then I decided, I'll peel it after. So I'm just cutting off the tips of the carrots because I wash them in like the water and stuff like that, because I need to cut them up and put them in like Ziploc bags. So I'm cutting off the tips of the carrot and then I'll peel them after, cut them up and put them in like Ziploc to put in the freezer, and y'all will see that later on in the video. And then I'm going to move on to like washing out the body and stuff because they need to be washed too. So now I'm just rinsing off the body, making sure there's no dirt and other little particles on it, just getting it out of that water and putting it in the drainer to dry. Well, not dry, but drain out so that there's not a bunch of water on the counter when I'm ready to cut it up. So that's what I'm doing here. So once I'm done cleaning my body, I'm going to take out all those little particles of stuff that is in the sink before I take out the subcoat, because we don't want those things go down our sink and clog it, right? So that's what I'm about to do here, and then move on. So now I'm about to cut up my cabbage. I'm just cutting it in half on the chopping board right now, so that's easier for me to cut up, because I want to cut it up small to make like chow mein and to mix with like other vegetables for like different days. So I'm just cutting them in half and then I'll cut them up in the bowl, as you will see in a little bit. So as y'all can see, I'm cutting them up really fine in my bowl. I already washed them, don't worry, I washed them and stuff like that before I cut them up, and I'm just cutting it up here in my bowl, like basically shredding it. Like, I know a lot of people sometimes do this on the grater, but I don't like how it is on the grater. And then I've seen people use the vegetable peeler to like shred it for like chow mein and stuff like that, but I feel like it's too thin when you use the vegetable peeler and it's too small when you use the grater. So I just choose to cut it up to the thickness that I want. So yeah, so now I'm just going to put all of the cabbages that I prepped into a Ziploc bag, because I usually prep my stuff and put them into the freezer so that it will last, instead of leaving it in the bottom of the fridge, like in the fridge part of the fridge, and then it starts to spoil or turn black or brown and gets mold. So I usually just prep everything for two reasons. One, it's easier for when I'm ready to cook, and two, it's not going to spoil, it's going to be frozen and I can just use it whenever I'm ready. So there it is, putting the cabbages in the bag, and I'm just squeezing out like the air from the bag so it's not bulky when I put it in the freezer. Now moving on to the body, I'm just putting some of them together so I can cut up like more than one at a time, and you'll see that I cut off the ends of them first and then chop them up, because I don't use the end, because who does that? So I'm just cutting off the ends and then I'm just chopping them up in like, bite-sized little pieces that I think is big enough for the things that I need to make with the body. So that's what I'm doing here. So now that my bowl is all chopped up, as y'all can see, I put it into Ziploc bags, and that way it's easier to store in the freezer rather than putting it in like a bowl or something, because I only have the top part of my freezer. So now I'm moving on to cutting the carrots in half and then peeling them so that I can chop them up into like strips for like chow mein or stir-fried vegetables or anything that I may need carrots for. So that's what I'm doing here, and I'm about to peel the carrots. So yeah. Okay, now that the pak choy is all drained off and it's not going to wet down my counter, because I don't want a wet counter, I'm about to cut it up and put it into Ziploc. So I'm just making the stems like a little smaller, because I hate when pak choy has like these big chunks of the white part. Like, I love pak choy, but I just don't like big chunks of food. So I'm just cutting it slightly smaller, like I'm cutting it down the middle, and then I'm going to cut it up into little cubes and cut up the leaves as well. So enjoy that. So let's just place that in some Ziploc bags as well, and I portion them out based on what I'm cooking, so I know how much I'm putting per bag. But I do want to get bigger Ziploc bags, because these are just like sandwich bags, and usually 1 or 2 of these packets make a meal for me and the kids. So that's why I use them. But I realized for like other things, I'm going to need like a bigger size Ziploc bag. So maybe next time I'll buy bigger sizes. But for now, I use the sandwich bags, and like 1, sometimes 2 of these is enough to make a meal, like depending on what I'm making for me and the kids. So I'm just squeezing out the air to, pack it down so that it will fit more neatly in the freezer. Now let's move on to the chicken. I have some chicken breast here that I got from Massey, and I am going to wash it and clean it. I did not do the washing and cleaning on screen because sis ain't trying to let her phone fall in the sink, right? So here I'm just adding some spices, and a lot of the spices that I use is actually from Chief brand baking products, I think it's named. But Chief, y'all know Chief, with the little Chief looking Apache on the packet. I usually use a lot of those seasoning packets in my food. So like the black pepper and jeera and curry powder and cinnamon and all the other things I usually use from Chief. So that's just me here adding my different types of seasoning to the bowl for the chicken. And I have like 2 different types of chicken. Like I have some of them like cut up in chunks, some of them cut up in strips, and then some bigger pieces for different types of meals that I'm going to make this week. So yeah, so I'm just showing y'all what I'm adding to my seasoning. So y'all would see on here I'm adding some chicken cubes, seasoning cubes. I added black pepper, oregano, curry powder, what else did I add? Some cinnamon to it as well. Y'all are also going to see me add some green seasoning to this, and of course we are Trinis. This is Trinidad. What is seasoned chicken without either freshly cut up green seasoning or blended green seasoning? I also add a little bit of mustard to my seasoning because I like the way it makes the chicken not be fresh. Even though you add like your lime and different things, I still add a little bit of mustard. So that's why you saw me doing that. And now I'm about to add some salt, and I'll add the green seasoning after. So now that all of the seasoning is added, I'm just going to mix this up and let the seasoning soak in before I put it in Ziploc bags. And now I'm just adding it into Ziploc bags. These are the chicken strips, and the other bowl has the chicken chunks. And then on the counter next to me has like bigger pieces of chicken for like grilled chicken or something like that. So guys, that's all of the things I prepped today. There's carrots, booty, cabbages, some chicken, no carrots, pak choy. I did prep some corn a few days ago when I was cooking my soup, so that's why y'all didn't see me do it in this video. I also have some other things prepped in the fridge. Like I have chicken that isn't boneless breast that was prepped the other day in the fridge. I also have some other vegetables prepped in the fridge, and also I have some ham because I bought an entire ham and I cut them up into chunks so that I can use for like breakfast or maybe in meals and stuff like that, and that's what you're seeing here in the bag. So this is just everything packed up in the fridge, looking all neat and nice, and I can just grab a packet and put it in the pot when I need it, and as like the kids bottles with juice and stuff like that. And y'all, when I tell you all, these juices did not freeze because there were so many things in the freezer. So let's hope next time all this stuff is frozen, okay?